Imagine the sound of crashing waves against a ship, the creaking of wooden decks and distant shouts. Picture a world where danger lurks in every shadow, and the line between hero and villain is as blurred as the horizon under a moonlit sky. This is the world of the Caribbean Sea during the golden age of piracy, a time of legends and lore, of treasure and tragedy. And at the heart of it all, one name stands out, echoing through the centuries: Blackbeard. But who was this feared pirate who ruled the Caribbean Sea? What led to his legendary downfall? Our journey takes us back to the early 18th century, a time when the Jolly Roger was a common sight on the high seas, and the name Edward Teach struck terror in the hearts of sailors and merchants alike. This is the story of Edward Teach, known as Blackbeard. Edward Teach wasn't born a pirate, he was made one. Born in Bristol, England in the late 17th century, Teach was just an ordinary sailor when he first set sail. But the sea, as vast and unpredictable as it is, had other plans for him. The turn of the 18th century was a tumultuous time. The War of Spanish Succession had thrown the high seas into chaos, with privateers and pirates seizing the opportunity to amass wealth from the confusion. It was during this time that Teach found himself in the Caribbean, drawn into the world of piracy. Joining the crew of Captain Benjamin Hornigold, Teach proved to be an able seaman and a fearless warrior. He quickly rose through the ranks, soon commanding his own ship, the Queen Anne's Revenge. Hornigold saw potential in the ambitious young sailor, and under his mentorship, Teach honed his skills and developed a reputation for mercilessness. His imposing figure, amplified by his thick black beard, struck fear into the hearts of many. But it wasn't just his appearance that made him intimidating. Teach was a master strategist. He knew that fear was a more potent weapon than any sword or cannon, so he cultivated his image meticulously. He would weave slow match cords into his beard and light them during battles, creating a terrifying image of a man with smoke and flames billowing around his head. And so, Edward Teach transformed. He became more than just a man, he became a symbol, a legend, a nightmare for those who dared cross his path. From a common sailor, Teach had become Blackbeard, the most feared pirate in the Caribbean. Blackbeard's reign over the Caribbean was a time of terror and excitement. Imagine a period where the name Edward Teach sent shivers down the spine of every sailor. A time when the sight of the Jolly Roger flag fluttering in the wind could turn a seasoned mariner's blood to ice. This was the reign of Blackbeard, a reign of terror and excitement that would go down in history. Known for his cunning tactics, Blackbeard was a master of misdirection and intimidation. He was rumored to tie slow-burning fuses into his beard and light them during battles, creating a terrifying image of a demon straight from the depths of the sea. His fearsome reputation was further enhanced by his flagship, the Queen Anne's Revenge, a formidable vessel armed to the teeth and adorned with the ominous Jolly Roger. But Blackbeard was not just a figure of dread. He was also a character of fascination. Tales of his exploits filled the taverns of every port, sparking excitement and awe. There were stories of his audacious blockades, like the time he held the entire city of Charleston, South Carolina, ransom. Or his legendary parties on Ocracoke Island, where pirates from all over the Caribbean gathered for days of revelry. And it wasn't just his daring deeds that made him a legend. Blackbeard was a flamboyant character, known for his extravagant lifestyle. His attire was as audacious as his actions, often seen with a crimson coat, a wide hat, and weapons aplenty. He was the epitome of a pirate king, ruling the Caribbean with an iron fist and a flair for theatrics. Yet despite the fear and excitement he spread, Blackbeard's reign was marked by a sense of transience. For all his cunning tactics and fearsome reputation, he was still a man, and every man's reign must come to an end. The sea was a wild and unpredictable mistress, and even the mighty Blackbeard was not immune to her capricious nature. His reign was fierce, but all reigns must end. As Blackbeard's story unfolds, we'll see that even the most formidable pirate king could not escape the relentless pursuit of justice, or the inevitable passage of time. But that's a tale for another scene. In 1718, the hunt for Blackbeard began, led by Lieutenant Robert Maynard. The winds of change were blowing as the British Empire decided it was time to end the reign of the pirate king. The seas, once a playground for Blackbeard and his crew, turned into a perilous battlefield. The chase was on, and Blackbeard's wily nature was put to the ultimate test. The pirate king was no stranger to evading capture, but Lieutenant Maynard was relentless, a hound on the scent of his prey. The waves churned and roared, echoing the intensity of the pursuit. This wasn't just a hunt, it was a clash of wills, a dance of death on the high seas. The stage was set for a final showdown at Ocracoke Island. A strategic hideout for Blackbeard, the island was a labyrinth of channels and inlets, a pirate's paradise. But Maynard, a seasoned naval officer, was ready for the challenge. He knew the stakes were high and the eyes of the Empire were upon him. The battle was fierce. The air was thick with gunpowder smoke, the deafening roars of cannons and the clashing of steel. It was a testament to Blackbeard's prowess and the sheer tenacity of Maynard's men. The tides of fortune ebbed and flowed with each passing moment, but in the end it was Blackbeard who fell, marking a significant victory for the Empire. The legendary Blackbeard met his end, but his legacy was just beginning. His life, his reign, his death, all would be etched into the annals of history, forever shaping our understanding of pirates and their place in the world. Blackbeard's demise marked the beginning of the end for the golden age of piracy, but his legend, like the sea he once ruled, would prove to be timeless. With Blackbeard's death, the golden age of piracy began to wane. The once stormy seas that were fraught with danger and the thrill of the unknown began to settle into a new era. As the echoes of cannon fire and the ominous beat of pirate shanties faded into the annals of history, the world was left with a changed perception of the seas and those who dared to defy its laws. Edward Teach, known to the world as Blackbeard, had left an indelible mark on the face of history. With his demise, the imposing figure that loomed over the Caribbean was no more. But his legacy was far from forgotten. His name became synonymous with the audacious spirit of piracy, transforming into a tale that would captivate generations to come. Blackbeard's death was the beginning of the end for the golden age of piracy. It was as if a great wave had crashed, its power dissipating into the vast expanse of the ocean. The seas were no longer the stage for legendary battles, audacious exploits, and the pursuit of hidden treasure. The end of this era was marked by a palpable sense of calm, a stark departure from the tumultuous time that had preceded it. Yet, the demise of this era did not mean the end of the pirate legend. Stories of Blackbeard's cunning tactics, his fearsome reputation, and the tales that made him a legend lived on. They were passed down through the generations, growing larger and more captivating with each retelling. The pirate king who once ruled the Caribbean with an iron fist had now become a figure of fascination and intrigue. The golden age of piracy may have ended with Blackbeard's death, but the world was left with the captivating tales of audacious pirates, epic battles, and hidden treasures. These stories continue to spark our imagination and fuel our fascination with the lawless life of pirates. The seas were calmer, but the legend of Blackbeard lived on. His name, his legend, and the era he symbolized continue to echo through the ages, reminding us of the audacious spirit that once ruled the Caribbean seas. The stormy seas and moonlit nights gave way to calm sunrise scenes. As we leave the turbulent waters of Blackbeard's time, we find ourselves in the serene break of dawn. The tempest has passed, and in its wake, we are left with the echoes of a bygone era, the golden age of piracy. It's fascinating, isn't it, how one man, Edward Teach, known by most as Blackbeard, could captivate the imaginations of so many for centuries. His tale, woven into the very fabric of our history, continues to shape our perceptions of pirates. His cunning tactics, his fearsome reputation, his legendary downfall, they all contribute to the enduring allure of the pirate lore. So, we must ask ourselves, how does the legend of Blackbeard influence our view of pirates and their place in history? Was he a villain, a hero, or something in between? As the sun rises, we are left to ponder the enduring fascination with pirate lore and the legend of Blackbeard.